The test is over.
On June 18th, 2026, former YouTuber Noah Antwiler, known online as the Spoony One, or Spoony for short, posted on his Blue Sky account that he was officially done producing video content. I used to be a huge fan of Spoony's videos starting around 2011. I was already a fan of AVGN and Nostalgia Critic, and had started watching JonTron, who turned me on to Spoony in his Dino City review.
I did start off that way, after being inspired by people like James Rolfe and Spoony. And then they kiss. But
I was immediately hooked by his name, which I clocked as a reference to Final Fantasy IV on the Super Nintendo. I followed his career closely until around 2015 or 16, when his uploads became few and far between. He slowed down releasing the content I really liked seeing, like his reviews of bad video games and movies, and instead focused on unscripted vlogs about wrestling, and crappy live streams, neither of which interested me. I slowly but surely became more interested in his life outside YouTube, specifically the bizarre things he'd post on Twitter, but a part of me always wanted him to make a big glorious comeback. As the years went on, the possibility of him releasing scripted videos waned. By the late 2010s, early 2020s, it became clear to me he was more or less done. The most frustrating part was how he could never admit to us, the fans, that the experiment was over. That is, he couldn't admit it until about a week ago, in the year of our Lord, 2026. For the listeners at home not already indoctrinated into the cult of the spoon, the long story short is that Spoony was a video creator who got his start on YouTube in early 2007, making video game reviews inspired by the likes of the angry video game nerd and Armake21, later branching into other forms of content and evolving his craft. Some of his most popular videos were his reviews of the Final Fantasy and Ultima series, as well as his videos where he'd deliver a humorous MST3K-inspired commentary over footage of games like Phantasmagoria 2 and SWAT 4. Also beloved were his movie reviews, where he'd cover cult classics like The Beastmaster and Yor, Hunter from the Future. Spoony joined the Channel Awesome Collective sometime in 2008, where he soon became a fan favorite among the many creators featured on the website. He collaborated often with other reviewers like Linkara and Bennett the Sage, which brought in new audiences for the Spoony Experiment. However, he was let go from the site in 2012 when he made a gross, fucked up joke on Twitter about a fellow CA contributor, Jezu Otaku. Another CA contributor, Obscurus Lupa, called him out on the tweet about a month later, and instead of apologizing and moving on, Spoony proceeded to act like a total put-upon bastard, huffing and puffing about how unfair the situation was. He later expressed regret over his reaction as well as the initial tweet, but the damage had already been done. Despite being let go from Channel Awesome, the views and Patreon bucks kept rolling in. This culminated in 2014, when he hit his stretch goal of receiving $5,000 a month, the reward for which was his promise to film a Spoony movie, a milestone which fans and ex-fans largely agree marked his fall from grace. He released a video thanking the fans for this insane accomplishment, and over the following months and years, his already sporadic release schedule would slow to a crawl without any further explanation or clarification. Also, I just want to point out the fear and desperation you can see in his eyes in the original Spoony movie announcement video. You can tell he's panicking over his promise of making a feature-length film. Instead of his regularly tightly scripted, edited videos, Noah would live-stream various games on his show he called Livewire, where he'd infamously show the callous, abrasive side of his personality to all his fans.
Don't tell me how to play. Now is not a good time to smartass me.
Well, you know what? I'm feeling in a really belligerent mood. I like killing things, and I like kicking things in the ass. So if anyone keeps going on about how you can negotiate with the fucking geckos, I'm gonna whoop your ass out of here!
Spoony eventually went radio silent through his typical channels, Patreon and Facebook, and instead Twitter became his primary avenue for communicating with his fans. Thing is, he used it more as a stream of consciousness blog, where he'd record his running thoughts on media he was consuming, as well as occasional updates on his personal life. He seemed addicted to the platform, sometimes averaging dozens of tweets per day, and it was frustrating for his fans to see him tweet so damn much without releasing the videos they craved. He never provided any updates on when his next video would be out, or what the progress on his ill-advised Spoony movie was looking like. Frederick Knudson's Down the Rabbit Hole video came out 8 years ago, on March 30th, 2018. By this time, it was clear the experiment was winding down to a halt, and people were wondering what the fuck happened to Spoony. Gone were his hilarious videos, replaced by these terrible live streams and depressing tweets. From 2018 onwards, Spoony's life seemed to move at a glacial-paced slow motion, with notable updates and changes happening once or twice a year, if that. His life seemed to be gradually deteriorating. First, his girlfriend April left him, then he lost his house in Aurora, Illinois, and finally his beloved dog Oreo died sometime in October 2021. Ever since 2022, Noah's been living with his younger brother Miles in Arizona again. There was a brief glimmer of hope for his return when he collaborated with Paul Morgan Stetler, the actor who played Curtis Craig in Phantasmagoria 2 on his show Conversations with Curtis, but that glimmer has since faded when he returned to his radio silent status quo. Going by what he posts on Blue Sky, it seems his days are primarily occupied by watching old TV shows, playing video games, and wallowing in despair. He has a new dog he's taking care of, who seems to be the only source of light in his life these days. My heart goes out to Spoony. On the one hand, I think his own poor behavior and complacency led to the place he's in today. I think it was incredibly irresponsible of him to take money from his fans for so many years while not providing anything in return, and he should have announced that the Spoony movie was a bust a long time ago. On the other hand, I can't help but want the guy to make a happy, satisfying life for himself. It's tough seeing him wallow in misery the way he is. I think Spoony is something of a cautionary tale. His story reflects what happens when you take your life, your career, and your friends for granted while failing to get the proper assistance you need with your own mental and emotional problems. He should have admitted to himself and to his fans that his internet show was not working out and he needed to course correct and make a game plan to get back to a more stable place. Instead, he wallowed in his own self-pity and neglected putting in the work to maintain what he had built up, burning every possible bridge along the way. He let his talents go to waste and has almost nothing to show for where he is in life. I was more affected by this announcement than I thought I would be. I knew the experiment was over for at least a few years, but having him finally come out and say it feels kind of like a full circle moment. When I was a teenager, I was always looking forward to what Spoony was going to make next. Then in my young adulthood, I was more distantly watching Spoony's descent into a deep, dark hole. Now I'm 30, the same age Noah was when his show really hit its stride. And it's over. When I look back on his career, I can't help but ask the big, scary, two-word question, what if? What if he got the help he needed? What if he learned not to mistreat his peers and gain their trust back? What if he continued honing his craft and challenging himself to do more and better? Where would he be today instead of wallowing in the pit of despair he dug for himself? All I hope for now is that he can find a way to make amends to all the people he spurned and mistreated along this long, crazy journey, and live a life he's satisfied with, rather than sit around lamenting what could have been.